Hey guys, in this video we're talking about the segmental cat-cow, which is going to help us mobilize our spine in a way that we are trying to move each individual vertebrae of our spine, independent of the ones above it or below it. So for the segmental cat-cow, there are 4 ways to do it. Let's flip over onto all fours and we'll go through our 4 ways. Each way of doing it is very similar to all 3 other ways, but they are all very important because direction matters in our movement. So let's start with the segmental cat-cow version number 1. That is going to be starting from a flexed position, or our cat position. Remember, in this position, I'm pushing my spine up towards the ceiling, and I'm breathing here. Now I'm going to segmentally try to move into a cow position, and I'm going to go by way of tail to head. It looks like this. First, I start by moving only my tailbone and sacrum. Remember, they're fused, so they can't actually move independently. But just the lowest part of my spine is moving. So I'm starting to extend my lumbar spine now. Each vertebrae has a couple millimeters of movement compared to the next one. So all this outward movement that you're seeing is me slowly and controlledly moving each vertebrae from a flexed position to an extended position. And each joint only has a few millimeters of movement. So this outward display of movement happens as all of the joints start to move in a wave-like fashion. I'm up into my upper back now, or my thoracic. Notice my head or neck haven't changed yet. Now I'm up to the head and neck. And there is my segmental cat-cow from flexion to extension by way of head, or by way of tail to head. Let's reverse it and let's stick with tail to head again. So I'm going to go back to flexion. I'm going to start with my tail. I'm pulling my tailbone up underneath me. Nice and slow, and I'm feeling what parts of my spine are being pulled underneath. I'm thinking of my rectus abdominals pulling my pelvis up in and towards my rib cage. This one's a little bit more challenging for me. It's going to be, each one will be either more challenging or less challenging depending on the individual. Starting to get into my mid and upper back now. It's tempting to just drop the head here. Try not to shrug the shoulders. And now my head follows all the way down to there. Sorry if the mic sounds weird right now. Okay, I'm back to flexion, or my cat position. Let's go from head to tail. So this is version number 3 that we're on. Head to tail, back into my cow position. I want you to notice how slowly I am moving. That's how difficult it is to control each individual vertebrae, because our body doesn't move just one vertebrae at a time in the real world. But you ask, so then why are we practicing this? It is so that we can target the tissues between our vertebrae and try to strengthen each individual tissue. And then in the real world, when it starts to move with all the other ones, it is stronger because each individual part is stronger. And now I am into my cow position. From cat, went by way of head to tail. Version 4, final version. Here we go. Head to tail, from cow back to cat. I'm going to tuck and elongate the neck as I'm coming back into flexion. I'm thinking of pulling my ribs down, trying to get my upper back to flex, trying not to compensate with scapular movement, going slowly, breathing. Now you might notice I'm rocking forward backward. That is unintentional, and I'm trying to eliminate it. Making my way down to my pelvis. And the last little bit, tucking underneath me. And relax. That is your segmental cat-cow in 4 ways. So that took about 6 to 7 minutes to get through that. That's how slow it should be. And by no means am I the best at this. My spine still clunks together. I've been working on this for a number of years, and it still clunks together because it is very difficult to move the spine with each individual vertebrae. But that's not necessarily the ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal is for you to get more in touch with your vertebrae. And if you so choose, you can move 1, 2, or 3 individual vertebrae without having to move your whole back. This is supposed to teach awareness and control. So keep practicing. There is no perfect segmental cat-cow. The point of this is for you to feel what's moving and try to get better at feeling and controlling each individual vertebrae. That's your segmental cat-cow.